Shul's a mixture of experiences. Some experiences are bad, some experiences are pretty good. I gotta say, one of the most annoying things about Shul, you're doing your thing, you're davening, and suddenly your tefillin falls down. And you're wearing long sleeves, and it's the winter, and it's cold. In yeshiva was the worst. It was freezing in my yeshiva, and you're like, once you get, it used to be you could wear a fleece instead of a jacket. So I put my fleece, I put it all in there. I didn't keep my sleeve rolled up. I put it all down, got my tefillin on, and suddenly it falls down. Always like by after your stabach or something, right before Shema, right before you actually need your tefillin, they just like lump down, and like the arm piece will stay on, and then all the leather pieces are down here, and you're like, oh my god, and they're like sticking out of your coat. You're like trying to like roll them back up. Like, this sucks, man. Another annoying thing in shul is when you get a new sitter. I always look for the old sitter, and I heard. I don't know if this is true, but I heard it's kind of like borer on Shabbos if you like pick and choose a sitter. Like, I want the bad ones, like people want the fresh ones. I want the one that's got like the pages falling out and it's missing half a nishmas. I want that so it stays open. The worst is when you're trying to like keep it open and it stays closed. That's the problem with chitas. That's why I don't use a chitas. Use a chitas, it just like keeps closing. I mean, it's this little tiny book and it's like that tall. I mean, it's like a stiletto. That's really what it is. It's like a high heel sandal boot or something, Another really annoying thing is slichos. I gotta say, slichos, I have never, ever figured out where I was in the full slichos. And get up to that first Vayavar Hashem al panav vayikra, and then like, I'm gone. I'm just waiting for the next one. And suddenly I'm sitting down, I'm just like waiting for the Hashem Hashem Arachim, and someone's like, get up, it's Shema Kalenu. And I'm like, oh yeah, finally. Like, you're waiting for that moment because you're like, all like the intermediate stuff, you have no idea where they're flying. There's a lot of prayers like that. Hoshanos, how many people have ever, like not at the beginning of Sukkot, at the end of Sukkot, like right near Hoshana Rabbah, have like got it past like the third Hoshanos? How many people actually know where they are? They're like, some guy's like, we're in Evan Shasia, and some guy's like, no, we're in the other one, and everyone's arguing with each other, and then you have the Sephardi custom versus the Chabad custom, and the Satire, and everyone has like their different custom, and then the guy leading it just keeps going, he's like, Hoshana, L'mancha Vayeni, Hoshana, and you're like, I don't know where we are, and then you're just kind of like doing your own thing, and some guy back he's doing something, you can never really figure it out. It's not like you ever find your place. Even when you find your place, it doesn't feel as good. Megillah finding your place. You ever sit there in Purim? You lose your space, because like, everyone's all pumped up about the Purim reading, and then like 3 chapters in, you're like counting to the end, you're like, oh my god, we're only on Perek Gimel, come on, like, when are we going to get moving here? And suddenly you look down, and you're like, oh, I'm lost. And you'll spend the whole entire Megillah finding your spot, and when you find your spot, it's like the best feeling. It's like Jubilee, man. You're like, oh my god, I found it, and you always find it, you're always like, oh, they just said me, chamocha or something. You're just trying to like look through, you're like, maybe it's this one, and now they're saying something else, and you're like, keep looking through, and finally you get to that like whole 10 sons in one breath part, you're like, oh, I find my place, but it's like, right at the end. Slichos Megillah. I don't know where else I'm going with this. I'm kind of going with the flow. Getting gelila when there's 2 torahs. It's the worst. The worst. Can't take it, man. I always like run out. I'm out of there, man. I'm like, I see them looking around. They're like, where is the token single guy? We're going to give him gelila. Or Pasicha, too. Pasicha was the worst when I was younger. When I was younger, went to shul, I left after Kedusha for Shachars, because we left, we went across the street to the schoolyard, played basketball, and then when the Kiddush Club started up, we came back in and had a couple schnapps and some schmaltz herring, and I like the herring. Matcha's herring is pretty good. I don't know what the herring is like. Maybe it's a wide soft, it has like scallions. It's like red herring, really good, really pimping with garlic. You gotta have garlic tam-tams. If you don't have garlic tam-tams, it's gone. I need garlic tam-tams. It's like a hunger. Ritz crackers, man, whole wheat, Triscuits. No, man, garlic tam-tams, dude. Anyway, so we'd go out. So I never really had the experience of getting Pasicha. But Pasicha kind of stinks, man, because you gotta be there, and you have to, it's like telling you when to be there. It's like getting Shlishi as an Aliyah. Shlishi as an Aliyah is the worst Aliyah, because you gotta like Shlishi or Ravi, because they're always the longest ones. You gotta hawk around. You get the end ones, you can go out and then come back in and do the whole, you gotta read the bulletin board to keep entertained or something. It's fine, man. I mean, there's a lot of annoyances. Think of what other annoyances there are. I don't know. I'll think of some and I'll get back to you.